The biggest myth that I hear is that you can't do Faceless because you're running a face forward business. So you're a coach, you're a consultant, maybe you have a local business, and you show up when it's time to do business. And so you think that having Faceless Social is going to impact you showing up in person. And I am here today to not only tell you that that's not true, but to show you actually six, and I forgot I added in another one, right? But I'm here to show you 6 businesses that are currently running faceless sites and doing really well, completely profitable. All of them right now monetize on various platforms, and they're doing it all faceless, but leading back to their business. So if you're new here, I'm Akila Thompkins-Robinson of Girl Get Visible. I help you to find the tech and marketing solutions that are going to help enable your business, and faceless TikToks is definitely one of them. Faceless TikToks, YouTubes, anywhere is definitely one of them. I specifically do faceless TikTok and YouTube, and so I'm going to talk mostly about that, but I'm telling you, faceless is blowing up everywhere, and that if you are still trying to make sure you can be on camera, make sure you look all great every time you get on, and especially if that is stopping you from actually marketing your business, then you need to lean into faceless, right? I started doing faceless early last year, and really it has changed the game for not only how I run my business, but how I run my business, how I market my business. While I still do face forward stuff like this, I'm not tied to face forward, right? At the same time, I have other faceless channels doing multiple different parts of my business. So, you know, when they say the multiple streams of income, my multiple streams are not all tied to me nor my face. I don't have to put as much pressure on myself to show up all the time, to be the only voice. With my faceless, I'm going to call my little faceless army, right? With my faceless army, I've got a little TikTok shop account over here on this side. I've got a little history account bringing in traffic on this side and doing features on that particular one. Other sites that are bringing in traffic to this site right here, right to this page and to this business as well. Using faceless in a different way than most people are selling faceless, where they're just like, oh, you know, start posting quotes and start doing everything to get monetized, or start doing all these, you know, random things. There's no randomness, right, when you tie faceless into a business. So before I get too deep into what I'm doing or how to do it, let's talk about what niches are out there doing this, right? And so there are a lot of different niches. Yes, there's the Facebook where, you know, people are just eruptions of volcanoes or galaxy stars, or even just the random woman just kind of doing her face or doing kind of different things. That's not exactly what we're talking about with this faceless. This faceless we're talking about, these niches are intentional and intentionally lead to a business or a product, and they are designed specifically to help to get people to interested in the topic and the subject more than they are interested in the person, and then they lead them into either the person, or some of them lead right to a product. So let me just show you these 6 niches that you can start today doing this type of faceless content. And let me know if you've not already, like and subscribe, of course, but let me know in the comments what's your niche, and we'll find a faceless to go with that one. So let me go over to my screen and show you guys these faceless niches that you've been waiting to hear. All right, so our first niche is what I like to call the psychology inner voice niche. Right? So this niche are pages that generally have some type of inner voice feeling. And I don't know if you guys can hear this, but like this one, that's the three signs that she's in love with you, but she's hiding them. Right? So that would be good for a relationship style page. Or this one here, signs that she actually might be feeling you. So these are like the inner voice kind of questions, universe kind of thoughts, concerns, things that people are thinking that will help them, your page would help them to identify, right? These are the signs. These are the things you should look for. This is how it's actually feeling. One of the things, this is another one that's along the same niche. So this one is psychology decoded and talks about the type of person that does different things. And this one, the type of person that stands at the party. So all of these I think would be great for like any type of self-help or relationship style niche, empowerment, personal development, because you can create these little stories, like these little inner voice things that you know your target audience is either thinking about or concerned about. What are some of the questions that you get? And they're really like small not even I don't want to say they're not long, but they're not long. They're about a minute long, and you deal with like one question or one issue with each one. So it's almost like endless content. You don't have to come up with a lot of different ideas. You just keep talking about some of the same things, but phrasing it different ways. And of course, the things that do the best, you then create more of, right? And so you see some of these like 2.5 million views on this video here. And some of these pages I've just started within less than a year, and already, like this one's already at 50K. This one here is already at 297K. So you can see how popular these are. The other really good thing about these videos, if you notice, both the channels that I chose, they're all animated. So not only you don't have to do anything, like you literally don't have to show up on camera. They're using an AI voiceover in these particular videos, and they're all using different animation style that you can either do in Canva, CapCut, their actual AI software that'll do this for you. If you've got questions about this, make sure you go over to my school community, Build It Faceless. I'll make sure the link is down below, where there are lots of examples like this, and I do lots of different tutorials on how to make these different video styles. So if you like some of these styles and you're like, I don't really know how to do it, head on over to Build It Faceless, because that's where I break all the technical behind the scenes of how you do some of these down. But these videos are amazing. So, and I didn't talk about how they monetize. So these two particular ones that I showed you are monetizing literally just off the creator fund, right? These are just creator fund pages. You could easily add a link to them and lead to your business and get the monetization off the creator fund. So these are easy to monetize in at least two different ways. And I say at least because I can think of digital products that this could be good for. I can think of features this could be good for. Like, these pages could be a gold mine, but at least two where you can get into creator fund and you can link to products. And I'll talk about that in some of the next niche that we're going to talk about. So this next one is legal info. So two examples here, the info hub, and there's another I'm going to show you guys. So this is really good if you've got a legal niche, I would say even in a tax kind of related niche, but something where it requires a lot of understanding, right? You can even do this for home building. Like if you're talking to people who are starting to build homes, kind of like really nuanced information. And what I like about this particular page, the info hub, is that they're not even just giving nuanced information. They're showing clips of when not knowing this information went wrong, right? And so I think that's what really sets them apart, is that they're not just saying, hey, here's the info. They're also saying, hey, here's the info. And they're saying, here are different ways that it's either been applied or it was not applied correctly. Here's what I would have done. And they're completely faceless. They're using just little clips here of different scenarios that happen and giving kind of their 2 cents into it. And there's some voiceover on those. Some of them are the voice of the actual clips, but they are monetizing also probably in the creator rewards program, just looking at these numbers. But more importantly, they're leading right to their link tree, and their link tree leads to different items they have, like books on civic suits for dummies. It could of course lead to one-on-one sessions if you wanted to do a booking a consult. So they're using this style to drive people into who are interested in these videos because they probably either have a legal problem or need to find out more about a legal situation that they're going into. And they're now deciding, okay, they need some help, and they're going to this link tree and seeing different ways they can get help. This could be even real estate style business, like dealing with realtors and all the nuances to buying real estate, especially buying real estate in certain areas, getting into an HOA, if that's your specialty, commercial real estate. Like, there's so many endless ways that this could be done. Let me show you another example. This one is actually an influencer. So this is a person, right? This is an actual person, but her whole page is faceless. Most of her page is completely faceless, and she's talking about reclaiming abandoned land and abandoned real estate. And so literally a lot of her videos are just her walking some of these abandoned land properties and talking about what happens and how do you reclaim it. And she either uses captions, a lot of those, or she does text on screen. She brings in some other style content and things things like that. But she's got literally thousands of videos just kind of showing the process, showing her going to the store, showing her at a place. A lot of these land videos that are really great. If you're in my school, you know we've got a whole lesson on collecting B-roll and getting your B-roll clips and organizing them so that they're easy to use and reuse. And this is a perfect example of taking those B-roll and making it into something amazing. She does a lot of replies right with her B-roll. So it's like a super simple, if you're already out there doing it, all you have to do is take some B-roll and now you can turn that into your full-on Faceless page. So it's another style of that kind of legal info based, like, and I say not everything's legal info, but just like really like lots of fact-based, info-based, and real, like applying it to real life scenarios, not just saying here's the information, but here's the information and applying it to, you know, all the things that you have to do and applying it to your business, right? So she's talking about how people can learn exactly what she teaches, even in some of her Faceless content. So one more in this information kind of based niche, this is her money mastery. This is, I love, personally love following this page. This page, it's a really strong info page where she's just giving you information about budgeting, about finance, mostly about personal finance. And so each of her videos are just that. And she's doing it with the same little notebook with the pen, using a nice little graphics, but this is all she does is point. And then she has some things that she's written. And so she takes a clip for each of the writing. And then that's how she's doing these videos. And this is another one that leads right to a link tree that has a bunch of the tools and templates that she does, that she teaches, some education academy, so all the products and services. This is literally, she does not have to be on camera 50 billion times, right? She just talks about budgeting, saving, investing, just giving you just, again, really small bite-sized clips. But this is another page that is doing really well in that like information, but apply it to real life, like make it real for me kind of content. Now, this next niche is one that is a little bit harder to break into, but once you get in, you're in, right? And this is a music and art style niche, right? And you could do it for either music brands or you could do it for art brands, or you can combine the two a little bit. This one specifically is for a music brand. And what I love about this and what I love about music brands doing this, so if you make music, right, you don't have to make music and art. This page is actually specifically just music, even though it showcases some amazing art, right? But if you make music, this is one of the best type of pages, because with this type of page on TikTok especially, people can take your sound and use your sound for their own videos. That's actually how I found this page. Originally was just, I was looking through different sounds that I wanted to attach to my video, found one of their more popular kind of jazz songy kind of sounds, came to the page and was like, oh my gosh, it's like a whole thing. And it leads people right to their Spotify. So the music that is theirs, you can come here and this is everything that they have, like their own little playlist of everything. Most of them is there. I'm assuming it's Bolden. I don't really know which one it is, but a lot of their music that is here is what's being, played on Spotify or played wherever, right? You're getting those streams over on Spotify. Here, it's getting attached to sounds. And so, again, you're monetizing in at least two different ways. I've seen people do or have also booking links so they can book the group or book the band or whatever. Same thing for art. So if I had art, same exact thing, but I'd find other sounds that are doing really well and I'd put my art to it and show the art in these same kind of video styles, where this one they're doing carousels and they just have different pieces of the art, and in this case they also, because they're music, they're showing you the music. I've also seen art that if you're selling art, they show it in a very artistic way, not in a here's my stuff kind of buy from me kind of way, but show it in this kind of, you'd like to see nice things, here's nice things, here's cute things to look at, and then a subtle link here and there. One of the things I've learned about Faceless is that subtle is not bad, right? Everything doesn't have to be a hard sell. It doesn't have to be, when do I get to the marketing? When do I get to the marketing? Literally, it is just people enjoying your page and they look in your links in bio and they click on your links, right? There's another page that we're not talking about in this video, but I talked about another one that does, it's actually more of an AI twin, which is why I'm not talking about it here, but it's an AI twin style where it's an old granny who just gives tips, right? She just gives kind of, she's rocking on the porch and she's just giving wellness tips from like your grandma used to give, or like back in the day kind of stuff. And she has like a really nice raspy granny voice. Like it's very, very warm, nostalgic feeling. And then in the link, it is a link to an app. That's not even a granny app. It's just an app that is about being calm and wellness and nutrition, stuff like that. And that is all that page does. And it does so well. Like I said, well, it is Faceless, because Faceless to them is using an AI twin. Maybe I'll do let me know if you want a whole video on niches that do well with AI. Not just say even twins, but AI characters, right? Because it doesn't have to be your face. It could be any AI character, and some of those, right? So on to the next niche. And so this is that music style niche, as I mentioned. On to the next niche. One of my favorite niches out here is automation and this textile niche, right? And so this one is Automation Universe, right? And this one, they pretty much just have videos and clips of them showing different automations and breaking them down, right? So how I automated my dentist booking system, and you see they're using B-roll, and then they're moving on over to showing actual screen recordings and a little bit about what they're doing. But that's all they're doing. All they're doing is showing automations. If you listen with the volume up, they're actually walking you through this animation. So anyone technically can do it, but we know that people will not take this and will not do it, and that is perfectly fine, because this person is monetizing using a school, right? And so they're bringing people right on over to their school community right from the link here in the page. And so that's the only thing you could do. And that's how they're leading people in. Like, they don't even have to talk to you, right? They know that you want to learn about automations. They know that doing automations is important to you. And so all they have to do is show you automations, show you how to automate different parts. And it's like literally one automation at a time. So it's not like a lot. It's not like, here's how to use this tool in its entirety. It's taking one use case at a time and saying, this is what we're going to do. These are the tools. You read some of their descriptions here. These are the tools we're using. And then it walks through how you set up the automation. This is literally a flow chart. They are literally walking through a flow chart right here, guys, right? Let me go to this one right here. Literally walking through a flow chart. That's all you got to do, right? No face at all. They're either using, most of them are either using their voice. They also are using voiceovers. And I just learned a really new cool trick that I shared with my school community about voiceovers and TikTok, and using your voice, right? So you can get the whole cadence and everything you want, but not having to go to 11 labs and doing all that extra stuff that you have to do with getting real good AI voices. You could do it right in TikTok, right? So make sure you're in my school community. If you've not already joined, go over to Build It Faceless. The link is down in the description, and you'll see how I'm doing that. So next niche we are going to talk about with another really super easy one. I have a page that is doing just this thing, right? This is the influencer shared motivation niche. You're not using the celebrities to market your business. Let's be clear, right? This page is all about motivational words that some of them have said in interviews. They may have said it on podcasts, or this one looks like they're just out in the street kind of sharing that energy. And so they create clips of all of these different, usually celebrities. Some of these look like they might even be some AI characters. So they're mixing it up a little bit, but basically things that you have either heard and you did the yeah, I agree kind of thing. They are turning those into actual clips and then putting them out there. And so as people who love this kind of content, love these people, love to watch this over and over and over again. They love to engage with this. Like I said, I have a channel that is doing this, and we started with Kim Kardashian clips from the masterclass that she did late last year, right? So I got some clips of it, put those out there. And when I tell you thousands of views, just from people who either resonate with it, they either agree with it or don't agree with it. So it causes a lot of different engagement in the chat. Like, so people are really engaging with it. And literally, it was a dead page that I'd kind of moved to the side back in like October, November, and decided to focus on other things. And then this year I said, let me bring this back and bring it back in a different way. And this was the niche that I started to bring this page back in. And it is bouncing back. Like, right? These are amazing. And then for the monetization, super simple. They got one little link, and this one little link to one little link tree goes to one little book, right? That they are the author of, right? Even honestly, the page, the Boss Wives, is the author of this book. And this is what they're doing to monetize. So you could easily do this and lead to your coaching services, lead to your digital products, lead to your boss motivation thing, right? So if you're someone who works with women, especially if you're like an accountability coach or performance coach, or someone that's not necessarily trying to teach you how to do something, but really get them in the process and the feeling and the mindset of doing, this is going to be a really good niche. Even if you're, I know I actually have a friend who's a wealth motivation coach, right? So stuff like that, this is amazing because for those particular audiences, they're looking to be encouraged. They're looking for some motivational things. So you look for clips from either people that you know your audience likes, talking about the things that you know are going to lead to what you're trying to motivate them in. So in this case, it's about being a boss, right? In my page, it's about getting into business. So that's why I use that Kim K. She talked a lot about building her brand and branding and things like that. That's what resonates with my audience. So that's what we used on that particular page. So this is, like I said, another one of the niches that I absolutely am loving right now, and super simple, literally Opus Clips, right? I'll put the link in the bio. Opus Clips is the only tool you need to do this niche. Honestly, because in Opus Clips, you can make the video clips, you can put in the video right from YouTube, you can make the video clips, you can add the captions or anything else that you want to. You can even mix up video clips a little bit if you wanted to do that. I generally just take one interview and get all the clips from it and then spread them out. And game changer, you can schedule in Opus Clips, right? It's their mid-tier plan, but it's worth it if this is all you're doing, right? If this is your page and your page is just clips, you can also, if you're somebody like me who does speaking, I do podcasts, I do all those things, amongst these, be your own celebrity, right? Be the celebrity in here, right? So you can also throw in clips of your own speaking, your own, motivational information, your own clips in with these clips and really maximize the possibilities of this particular niche. Last niche that I want to show you guys before we end this particular video. And like I said, if you want to see other types of niches, you want to see how we do it with only animated videos. What are the best faceless niches for animated videos? What are the best faceless niches for the AI character videos? If you want to see those, let me know, right? Because I've got literally, if you're in my school community, if you're over there in Build It Faceless, you know that we've got a whole category and a whole classroom with nothing but faceless niche examples, right? So there's a lot of different ways you can do faceless. There's no perfect one. The only thing that's perfect is profitable, right? And so I'm showing you and sharing with you all the different ways you can do faceless and the ways you can make monetization off of faceless, right? Whether it be for your business, for its own business, like the Boss Lady book that was over here. Where did I have that link? You guys saw it. The Boss Wives book. She might not ever talk about anything else, but this is this there making money. She might not even be a she, right? But this is there just continuing to be monetized, right? And to monetize for them. So let me get into this last niche, and someone's going to laugh because you know it had to do with New Jersey, right? And New Jersey's just the example, but y'all know I am a true Jersey girl, love all things Jersey, and we're some really smart people because this Rooted in New Jersey page is amazing. So this niche is your location-based niche. So if you have a business that is either about being in a certain area or you're just in a certain area, so you can maximize off of that certain area. If you have you have a location in a certain area, you want to start a niche that's faceless, that talks about the area that you're in and the things that you do in that area. And I followed this page for a while. It's another one that started early last year. And this particular page talks about different parts of New Jersey, road trips in New Jersey, towns in New Jersey, people in New Jersey, riots in New Jersey. I don't even know what that was about, right? But it was out in Atlantic City. So it was in New Jersey. He originally started out doing fitness, and I'll go down here to some of his older videos where he would show himself doing different fitness activities and working out in different parts of New Jersey, right? So that's what started this particular niche of getting people from New Jersey to come to this page. Then they see him be doing fitness and doing different activities, and he's a fitness coach who does like outdoor activities. So using that, right, he now was able to build this entire page from this and launch a book, right? A map, not a book, a map. But either way, he launched a thing that, as you can see here from the ratings, is getting some sales because people are rating it, right? So he launched a thing where he now talks about those locations and just sharing maps. Like, I don't even have to, it doesn't even have to be to my core business of fitness. We're just going to show you maps of things you can do in New Jersey. And he could do different maps. He could do North Jersey maps, Central Jersey maps. New Jersey, let me tell y'all, I love my state, I do, but we've all seen the map. New Jersey's, look, here's one right here. New Jersey's only 2.5 hours long. You could drive from top to bottom 2.5 hours. Depending on what part, you could do east to west, probably in about 2 hours too. All that to say, New Jersey's not the biggest state, but you can make a whole page, right? A whole page. You get 23,000 followers just off of one little state, right? So don't think you've got to do all the things, right? Don't think you got to go all the places. You don't even, I'm sure these aren't even all his clips, right? From different parts of New Jersey. But if you are one that goes out to different parts, get those clips. And one of the things I do, we do this a lot on my cooking page, where we get a lot of different clips of different things like I do for cookbooks. I'll get go to a store, get a lot of different cookbooks, get a lot of clips of those cookbooks, right? Different recipes, different whatever they have in the beginning, different meal plans, like whatever the book has to offer. And then we bring them home, and then we start making different groupings of them. So let's say I got a bunch of different recipes for desserts. Now I'll do a video on, great cookbook recipes for desserts, or 5 desserts I found in my bread making cookbook, or something like that, right? You could do that with something like this too. So say you go to a town and you just walk up and down Main Street and get little clips of each one. You do that with 2 or 3 different towns, and now you can say, best places to get ice cream, best places for donuts, coffee shops in New Jersey, restaurants in New Jersey, Italian restaurants, Mediterranean restaurants. Like, you can go off, right? Just from being very strategic about how you create those clips. And of course, this is something that I talk about and I teach about in my school, about bringing it together and making it a lot less stressful, and working smarter and not harder in this faceless marketing niche. So those are the 5 niches that or 6. I keep forgetting I added this one. I had to add this one. If y'all not agree, give me a fire in the comments if you don't agree that this one was worth the add, right? But those are the 6 niches that you can do faceless and lead to a business. So this is not just faceless and hoping the algorithms love you, right? This is not just faceless and waiting for hitting monetization. You can monetize on these day one because they are wrapped around your business. You've got a link tree or a product for them to lead to. You've got a service for them to lead to. You've got something for them to lead to, that even while you're waiting for platform monetization, or even when you get platform monetization, you've got a whole other angle you're doing with these particular faceless channels. So let me know in the comments what your niche is, and let's see if we can find some faceless for you. And which one of these would you do the most? Right? Which one of these, I'm going to try that. This is super exciting. I've already got 3 in 3 different niches, like I mentioned here. And they are all doing amazing because we're faceless and I don't have to do it all myself. We'll talk about that in the next one. See you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.